Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. So we're going to have a little chat, a little Q&A with our international guest today. First of all, sorry for my voice. After hosting the costume parade, my voice decided just to leave the chat. So it's just it's a little bit like this today. So first of all, I'm going to briefly introduce our international cosplay guests, and then I'll let them do the job and introduce themselves. But we have from Denmark, we have Trine here on the bright side with me. We are white. Then we go a little bit on the dark side, and we have Yugoro from Estonia, and then we have Stilutz from Switzerland. So my first question is, you have the microphone, so I would like for you to introduce yourself. So you can do that, you are better than me in that.
Okay, hi, I'm Stylus from Switzerland. I'm cosplayer since 2009, so it's a long time ago for me. And now, I was a lot involved into cosplay competition during years. I was 8 years into competition, and now I'm more like traveling to judge cosplay event, like Elfia this year. And it's really amazing for me to coming in Netherlands. It's a beautiful country. That place is so magical. Thank you to Manuel for all the hard work they put into the event. And for me, cosplay is just having fun, sharing friendship with people, and craftsmanship. So a lot of passionate people. So thank you for welcoming us in your beautiful country.
Well, thank you for coming.
Hi, I'm Yugora, coming from Estonia, and I'm starting to do cosplay since 2017. But before that, I was really deeply connected to the medieval and fantasy stuff. I did a lot of LARPing, live action role playing, and I did many fantasy costumes back these days. And right now, cosplay is my full-time job, and I'm making more gaming and cartoonish cosplays, but being here is actually a really nice throwbacks to my beginning of costume making. So I'm really enjoying being here, and it's so lovely here. I'm really enjoying. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Hello, I'm Trina from Denmark. I have been cosplaying for many years, since 2016. And I also, like Yugoro, really enjoy medieval and fantasy stuff. That's why I started cosplaying. I just wanted to dress up as these cool characters and gain the confidence from that. Cosplay is also my full-time job. It's been like that since October last year, so it's still pretty new for me, but I'm finding my way and I'm enjoying every moment of it. And I'm just so happy to be here and enjoy the beautiful event and judge the costume competitions. That's another part of my job. I travel to different countries and judge competitions and see amazing events. So I'm very lucky to have these opportunities, and I'm super happy to be here today.
Thank you so much, Trina. I also would like to add something, because those people are so humble and kind, but if you go on their profiles, of course they're going to tell you where you can find them, but they are so talented. They can do things that I cannot even process in my mind. They can make armors, they can make 3D files, they can sculpt. They are really incredible artisans. So I will also invite you to take a look at what they do, because it's insane. It's really insane. Now, talking about cosplay a little bit, talking about costumes, I would like to know what was the spark that made you say, hey, I want to do cosplay. I want to do this. I want to try to dress up and go somewhere.
A lot of people, when they start cosplaying, it's because of anime. And I got into anime a bit later. I was 16, 17 when I started watching anime. And like many other people, my first one was Naruto. And I really liked the character Kakashi. I thought he was just so cool. And I've always been very nerdy and especially creative, sewing and painting and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make his costume. I didn't even know what cosplay was. And then my friend in school was like, oh, are you making it for this event, which is like in 2 weeks, which was a huge coincidence. And that was for a convention in Denmark where people dress up in cosplay, especially from anime. And I was like, no, this is just for myself. And he was like, you should come. And I went, and it was awesome, and people really liked my costume, and I saw other people's cosplay, and what I had made was terrible, but I really wanted to get better, and seeing all the other people and feeling the positivity, I just want to keep going, and I never stopped. So
So for me, actually, I got the spark at a really, really young age. When I was 4 years old, I've been obsessed with one American cartoon. I don't know, maybe you know this, He-Man and Masters of the Universe. That was my favorite cartoon. And I really was begging my dad and mom, can you make me please costume? Because I really was so obsessed with character design. They didn't made it for me, but I was like dreaming like from till my teenage years, like I have to do something with that. I still didn't do anything yet, but I was collecting the cosplay pictures, thinking like I will do something, I will make something. I really want to do that. And then I started to make fantasy costumes for me and my friends. And then I tried my first, making my first cosplay while I was in school. My teacher helped me to sew my first cosplay. It was also like related to Naruto. Yeah.
That's lovely though,
Yeah.
that your teacher helped you.
And like now I'm doing this almost every day, and I'm really enjoying. I still didn't do the He-Man cosplay, so but maybe in the future, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm dancer. This is my other passion, and I was just coming back from Japan and running into convention, and saw all that amazing people in cosplay. And I said, yeah, I want to meet that people. And the costuming for me was a way to break the ice and to going and say, hey, can we make a group and that kind of stuff. So I decided to make the costume of Daft Punk. It's a music crew. And I made the helmet, and I was on stage and dance and meet a lovely community in Switzerland. There, the Cosplayer, it's like a kind of big family. So we're sharing that a lot together, and for me, it's the best gift I received from cosplay. It's the people I meet, my community. I love them so much.
Yeah, there are so many good things about doing cosplay. I'm also going to jump really quickly in that because it's a funny story. That's how I started. In my school, every time people in October they didn't go to school, they were going to this Comic-Con. And I was like, "What's a Comic-Con?" They're like, "Well, it's a place where people dress up, go and have fun." And I was like, "Oh, that's amazing! I want to come too." And they were like, "Yeah, you can come." And they were planning their costumes for 1 year. I went on Saturday, and I was amazed by all those people. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do a cosplay for tomorrow then. They were like, for tomorrow? And I was like, yeah. So I ran back home, took a gray jacket, covered myself in glitters, took a puppet of a wolf and wrote Jacob on it, and I dressed up as Edward Cullen from Twilight when he sparkles in the sun. And the people were taking pictures of me, not of them. And I felt so guilty, but I loved the Comic-Con, and that's how I started. So everyone has different backgrounds, and that's amazing. That leads me to my next question, that is, we all started cosplay because we love it. But then it becomes a job, and things change. You have deadlines, you have sponsors, you have people, you have pressure on your shoulders. So how do you make sure that you keep, these butterflies in your stomach going, this passion for costuming going, without getting lost in being a business,
To my point, I made a choice in 2013 because I received some proposal from a big movie industry company to work on the props making department. And when they send me the salary, the working hours, I decided to not going on that as a professional job because we can't imagine to be professional cosplayer is so many sacrifice. I a lot of respect for people working in the costuming industry. You don't count your hours. It's like your soul is in it's your life, So I decided to keep my job because I'm working as a banker in Switzerland. I know it's very cliche, but that's the truth. And I decided to just keep that as an hobby, even if now it's a kind of job for me, but I still to enjoy because that kind of people. This is so inspiring for me to meet artists from all around the world and sharing creativity, inspiration about anime, movie, all the stuff. So yeah, I keep the motivation because the other people inspire me a lot.
That's amazing.
I would say actually for me it's kind of the same story. Sometimes since I'm doing cosplay full time, sometimes I'm too deeply in the projects. I so busy I don't have free time, and sometimes I feel like I'm losing this part because I'm like too like busy with every day doing something. But the thing which keeps me inspired is actually being at the conventions with the friends, meet people, because sometimes when you like always in your mind, like working, you're losing something, some inspiration, but when you see the other's point of view to this, you're just like, ah, this is so inspiring. I love it so much. So yeah.
I'd say basically the same. Actually, the people is basically my biggest motivation, seeing other people succeed, listening to their stories, being with them, having a great time, and also just the freedom that I do get from my job, even though I'm very busy and I'm constantly working from when I wake up to I go to sleep. It's still on my own terms. I get to choose how much I work and when I work. Obviously I have deadlines and I have things that I need to finish, but just the freedom that I do get is really, really worth it for me. And if I lose motivation with the project, then I just look at some videos online from that video game or from that movie, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I love the character, and I'm like, okay, I gotta make it really good. Yeah.
I do the same.
So yeah.
And talking about, being inspiring and being inspired and recharge. Well, first of all, I would like to say something to the audience. If you have questions, of course, at the end, I'm going to dedicate some part to the question, so you can raise your hands, and you will ask your question. So, I would like to know how you recharge. Now, we have mostly no free time, and it's very difficult to understand for us when our job ends and our hobby starts, or vice versa, because our job is our hobby, and our hobby is our job. But when you feel like you are working too much, or maybe this is a very stressful project, how do you recharge? What do you do? For example, I go in the nature or I go with my family and I enjoy the time there, or with my dog. So for me, that's recharging.
I spend time with my cat.
You see, yeah.
And if I do have time, then I really like to go visit my family. My entire family, they're farmers. They have big farms, like half an hour from me, or 1.5 hours from me. And obviously, because it's a farm, it's close to nature, close to forests, close to fields. And that just really gives me peace, because again, I love fantasy and I love nature. So that really helps me a lot. And my boyfriend is really good at telling me that I work too much. So sometimes he comes in and he pulls me out of my workroom. And then he says, now I'm cooking dinner and we'll just watch some Netflix. That really helps too.
And you have to surrender to that.
Yeah.
No needles in the kitchen, no sewing, no.
I usually do chores.
You do what?
Chores, like I'm cleaning apartment, rearranging stuff. Yeah. It's also like my way to procrastinate sometimes with the projects. And I'm trying to spend more time with my family, with my friends, and also I'm doing a little bit of concept art. Maybe it will be my job in the future. So I'm trying like to switch my work for a little time.
You also digitally paint or illustrate?
Yeah.
Because I have a sticker from you or
Yes.
and it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So they just know how to do everything.
So yeah, cosplay and drawings, artisty stuff is always connected.
Yeah.
I'm playing to Magic the Gathering card with my friends. I know it's very nerd, but that's the truth. And just watching Netflix with my wife and chilling, so nothing exciting.
No, I think it's a way to recharge, You have to put your brain away from work and cosplay. Because sometimes we are so excited, I don't know about you, maybe not you because you are a banker, and you wake up in the morning and you go to work. But for me, I don't have any specific times to work. Sometimes I find myself doing things at 4 a.m. I'm like, oh, it's 4 a.m. What do I do now? I keep going, or I go to sleep, or maybe I eat dinner, or maybe breakfast. I don't know. Sometimes you are just lost in the project, And I would like to ask you something about Elfia. Because this is the first time that Elfia is opening the doors for international cosplay guests, and also the parade has been completely renewed. with money prizes, so many things happening. And as you saw, maybe, Elfia is like no other events. It's very different from a Comic-Con, it's very different from a convention. So I would like to ask, what's the thing that you saw in those 2 days that captured your attention the most here at Elfia? The thing that you were like, oh, I never seen that.
The cosplay stage.
Well, I take it as a personal compliment then, because I'm responsible for that.
I made so many events since 10 years. I'm judging now, and I can say that's one of the best I ever seen. It's so cool for cosplayers.
Coming from a professional like you, it's a huge compliment. Then thank you so much.
I would also say the stage,
Oh my
like
God.
it was awesome, like with all the lights, and it had its own vibe. It was so great. I never felt anything like that before. So thank you so much for
Oh,
that.
thanks to you guys.
Yeah.
I have no words.
And I would say the whole vibe of the convention, it's so cozy, it's so cool. Since I'm doing like a lot of like fantasy LARPing stuff, it feels so good, like being back to this vibe. Like it's awesome.
It's a throwback, memories, yeah.
I would also say the stage, but what really comes to mind is actually the dedication that I see in all the different areas, I guess, or aspects from the event.
I
Like
was about to say that after your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the guards that are so, I don't want to say in character, because they are just guards, that's just how they are, but the dedication to people's character. I see the volunteers are sleeping in tents here. Everything is just like, there's so much focus on making this great and have this energy that there is and really be present and make it great, I'd say.
I do agree so much. Bringing to life an event like this is hard work. It's really, really hard work. There are hundreds of people behind the scenes working for Elfia every time, like even in the weekends, just to make sure that everything works. Well, sometimes, we have things happening, but who doesn't? The thing is that what I loved about Elfia for the first time I came was what you said. Everything is so taken care of. You are in a fantasy event, you want to experience the fantasy. You don't see like plastic tents. You see things made in wood. You see the stage is themed. You see people in costume. The location is wonderful, stunning. So everything, that there is an attention to details that really, makes it magical. So I do agree with you guys. I would like to ask you, simple question, what's the best costume you made so far? The one that sometimes you watch, maybe in your workshop, and I'm like, oh, I made that. I like it.
I think I have two, and they're both full body armor with helmets and everything. One is the Fallen Knight armor set from Dark Souls 3, just because it's so rusty and dirty, and I really like. I know you can't see it right now, but I prefer to make very armor with rust and dirt and just really nitty gritty. And then my second one, I'd say, is also full body armor, which is the Hustle armor from Elden Ring, just because I love all the details.
Oh, one question quick, I will jump in. Is one of those armors the one that I also saw in Vienna or not?
That's the second one.
That's the second one, because this lovely lady, that's a super quick funny story. I was a judge for the European competition, and this lovely lady came in with an handmade armor that my jaw dropped on the floor. She made something that I'm not even able to realize how was made by a person. And she won the European competition, so she's the reigning champion now. And that was amazing. So but I'm not good with names, so I didn't know if one of those armors you were talking about is that one that I also saw. And so what about you?
For me, I would say actually I'm pretty proud of my every cosplay project, because every time when I'm doing something, even it's an easy project, I'm trying to learn something new, and it always brings me new skills.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm not a pursuer, so every time when I'm doing sewing project, I'm always trying to learn how to do it myself. So I'm doing a lot of researching, learning myself, asking my friends sometimes how to do this, how to do that. So every time, if it's tiny, simple dress, I'm super proud of it because I made it.
This is not, I wouldn't consider this a simple dress, because I think the cleanest the simple the dress looks, the cleanest you have to work, because one small mistake and you see it. So, and with this type of dress, you do one mistake, you see it.
Yeah.
And I think it looks amazing on you. All the proportions are great.
Thank
so I will
you.
consider you a pro sewer, 100%.
Oh, thank you
Yeah,
so
no,
much.
no, no. The result speaks by itself.
I have two both costume. The one it's Rinsler from Tron Legacy was my first international one, and the second one it's the Urio from the Last Samurai movie, because he was catched by the man who make the armor, and I become friend with Weta Workshop for this reason.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I was like so grateful to say that some people from the industry recognize your work. Like you know, I'm working in my kitchen, so yeah.
So the next question I think is really, really important. So we should take a moment of silence for that one. Have you tried pufferges yet? Or not? Pufferges? Well, they didn't. You should. Pufferges are, well, I found them in the Netherlands and I've been amazed and I think about them all the time. It's the right pronunciation, pufferges, right? So they are, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are small pancakes that they cook in this pan with all slots for pancakes and then they twist them and they're covered in butter. But you can also put ice cream on top, bananas, toppings. They're amazing. Did you add? Huh?
We must try it, yes.
We must, after this, we just...
So they become balls?
They don't become balls actually. They stay a little bit flat, right? So like little pancakes, but bumpier, I would say.
Because in Denmark we have something similar.
Bumpy
We have
pancake.
something similar in Denmark and Estonia as well.
Really?
So, yeah.
We don't have in Italy. That's a pity. But yeah, that was okay. We have to try pufferges before you go back. So let me see what other questions we have before we go to the. Oh, this is a good one. Before we ask the audience if they have questions. So yesterday we did the costume parade. It's the first time I think that the costume parade was an indoor place, maybe at Elfia. And what an indoor place, because if you haven't been at Giostra Fortunia, that it's the new tent where all type of performers are performing and doing all type of acts. I think at 2:30 we have LED shows, then we have the jester, we already have so many things are going on there. And Giostra Fortunia was also the new home for the costume parade. And so many contestants showed up with incredible costumes. So I would like to ask you what you thought of the parade, if you have things to improve it, if you have something to say to our contestants regarding the performance or the costumes or whatever you want to share, you feel like sharing.
For me, it was really like the atmosphere was really something special. Mixing the costume with that kind of tent is like magical for me. And as a judge, I was feeling like, oh my God, I feel like a king. You know, it's really like a big pleasure to judge in such good condition. And for a cosplayer, to be honest, it's really a chance, because in even the biggest competition, sometimes the waiting are rude and it's sometimes very painful. And for cosplayer, this year I can say that you're making an amazing job on that. So.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's being a judge is not as easy as it looks. Sitting there, or you say you sit there for 2 hours, you just have to sit there. No, you have a costume on, you have pre-judging in the morning, so you've been standing for 2 hours looking at every contestant, judging every costume. It's not as easy as it looks. If your costume hurts or your wig hurts, you cannot just take it off, you know. You can, like, doing it professionally is really hard. Yeah.
I would say the same, like the stage was really good, and I would say like your hosting was so like top notch.
Did you like it?
Yes, I love it so much.
Thank you so
And
much.
having a small talk with all the contestants after the performances was so good. Like it was so nice.
All the contestants were so nice.
Yeah, they
also.
were so sweet.
Yeah.
And the dancing with the crew.
Yeah. With the royal guard. Yeah, with the royal guard.
And there's a spaghetti thing.
Yeah, guys, I'm Italian. They took spaghetti and they broke it in front of me. I almost passed out. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. But it was a party, and also you see all this type of different costumes because it's not cosplay focused. So you see people making costumes with everything. One time I judged Elfia, and one person showed up with a costume made out of balloons, made in the morning out of balloons, and I was blown away to be in team with balloons. But so yeah, a lot of art.
I really love the performer-audience relationship. I like how suddenly you sat down in the audience and how the guards are also kind of, interacting with the audience. And I started dancing with one of the guards.
Yeah, I saw you. I saw you.
That's it's amazing. The overall vibe that it's not, super formal, but it's just a fun time, and we don't have to be perfect all the time. And it was so great, and it was a very, very beautiful setup. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. I think you guys captured perfectly like what the idea was of the costume parade and Giostra Fortuna. It's like a place where people should just feel like themselves, enjoy. That's the first thing, enjoy, and it's a very inclusive place, of course. So thank you so much. My other question, then I would like to hear from the audience if you have any question. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking. My other question is, what's the favorite part of actually making a costume or an armor or something? Because for me, for example, it's pattern making, because it's what I do for a job. I develop the patterns for mostly Disney and 20th Century Fox movies for the actors. So making the patterns mathematically, that sounds like a nightmare for a lot of people. For me, it's lovely. So do you have a favorite part of the process of making costumes?
Overall, I'd say the reason I love doing cosplay is because I'm very nerdy. So I get to do something nerdy, that's always great. And also I get to be creative. And I get to be creative in so different ways. Like we mentioned before, every time I make a new cosplay, even though I've been doing it for so many years, and I've made a lot of different costumes, I always make something new or need to find a new technique or tweak something. So that's really, really cool that you get to try so many different creative mediums. But my very favorite, let's say, medium is making cosplays dirty. And weathering, yeah. Weathering and distressing, and making it look usually realistic. That's my favorite part, adding rust, dirt. That's what I love the most.
You will be perfect for the breakdown department in production. The department that does what you're saying is called the breakdown department. And those are the people that make the costume look alive. They even create sweat stains. I found out that there is a product that makes the costume look wet, but the costume is dry. So when you put a piece of fabric or something in water, soaks up the water and looks sometimes darker, sometimes heavier. There is a product that does that. Wow. But then it dries, so it looks wet all the time, but it's not. I found out crazy things. You will be perfect for the breakdown department. Perfect.
Actually, my favorite part is pre-managing the project when I looking for the references.
Business lady.
Yes.
Business lady.
Looking for the fabrics. My favorite part is going to the fabric store and observing, touching the fabric. This will work good. This will work better. I love this so much. That's why I have so many fabrics at my workshop, which will never be in my cosplay.
Same.
And also I love to when cosplay is finished, I love to first try. I love to see the result which I just made.
Do you ever feel like, every time I put on a cosplay for the first time, I always feel like a potato? Do you ever have the same feeling? Like you do the costume, you put it on, I'm like, I look a mess.
Yeah, like slay.
Yeah, no, I'm like, yeah, that was a success, right? Yeah. So I don't know, maybe because you see yourself so different from what you're used to, but this is a very common feeling for me. Putting on the costume for the first time and not liking it.
For me, if I don't have makeup.
Makeup and wig do the trick also. So sometimes when you try it on, you have messy hair and you have no makeup on, so maybe that also helps too. Yeah.
I'm more concentrated on the body shape. So I not see my face.
Proportions.
Yes, and proportion is just everything for me.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, for me, I love working the casting part for the resin. I like to adapt, adding some charge in my mold and try my own weight of armor. I heat glue, it's like a bit like a wizard, mixing different kind of smooth-on products is amazing. And when you find the right balance of color and shading, like you can making a resin like looking like real steel. It's the best for me. I love that part. Only it's very toxic, so it's a bit bad, but I love that part.
I just love spending money on, I don't know, maybe it falls into the, how do you call, compulsive shopping type of spectrum. But when I go to the fabric store and I get to buy the fabrics and I get to spend the money on the fabric and bring it home, I really enjoy the process. Then I feel guilty, but we don't talk about that. We just talk about doing, the first step. And I would also like to point out that I found out that the armor you are wearing, not only you made, but it's made of steel. Yeah. So you had to put it in a oven or something?
Yeah, we have. I have a friend, he's a blacksmith, so we go on the forge and working like in the Middle Age. And I was very scared at the beginning because it's the first time in my life, and everything it's like looks dangerous. Yeah. You can hurting very fastly. You have big gloves, you have glasses, and every day of work it's pain. Yeah. So it's 1 year of work to having the final.
1 year?
Yeah, because I have a job, so I need to find time after my
job.
Of course. But he helping me a lot because my first try, even only a small part, like the finger, was like difficult. And the rivet, you need to have force, so yeah.
And you need to be able to, make sure that not only everything is working, but it's also kind of comfortable, as much as cosplay usually is not comfortable.
No, I looks like, but I'm dead inside.
Yeah, you're still alive, but just because you ate probably lunch. Dedication. Yeah. So I would like to ask to the audience if you have questions. So I will come and listen to your questions. You have a question? Hi. Is this long enough? Otherwise, I don't want to make this chapel full. Okay. Hi.
Do you have any tips for beginner cosplayers who want to participate in the costume parade in Elfia Haarzuilens?
Yeah, for when you are starting cosplay and want to enjoy a competition like Elfia, beginning with something that you are comfortable with, something not bigger armor or bigger swing stuff, but something that you know that you will manage well. And my second tip is to ask some question to more advanced cosplayer can be a good way. If you writing me on Instagram, I answering to anyone. If I can help, I will do it.
I would say it's first of all, it should be joy for you. So if you're enjoying the character or if you have your own design, I would say Elfia is the best place to show.
Be crazy with the original designs, 100%.
Yes, and show your imagination. So if you ever wants to try a cosplay, maybe for you would be better to try something for your design, for your ideas, and just perform and show something. But if you want to do a cosplay, it's always okay. But fantasy, your imagination gives you more freedom to express yourself.
I always tell newcomers to cosplay to watch a bunch of YouTube videos. Before I started, it was basically just because I liked having it as a background noise. Watching people make cosplay and talk about how they did it. It inspired me so much, and especially if you want to start working with foam or warbler, there are so many great tutorials and people like Kamui Cosplay who make full build videos where they go from start to finish, and some of the techniques can be a bit intimidating for a beginner, but still you get an idea, okay, this is how they did it. I can't do it like that, but I can do it in a different way, maybe a cheaper way also, and then you adapt and you take what you can from the pros and then you adapt it to fit your project. I think that what helps me so much to see other people, what they're doing.
I'm also throwing a suggestion in there, because I think it's a very useful one. So because there is a pre-selection and thing original characters, of course, are a part of the costume parade and they will forever be. So also when you want to register to, let's say, the costume parade, but also for other Comic Cons, etc., my biggest suggestion would be, let's make sure that the reference picture you gave are cohesive with what you bring. So for example, you're doing an original character inspired by a plant or a flower, make sure that the colors are very similar to your costume. So the judges and the people get it, because it's something that comes from your mind, and the way you present it and you show it, it's what sometimes makes it. It sounds ugly, but it's how you sell it. You don't have to sell anything, but it's how you present it. So this would also be a teeny tiny suggestion that I have. And in general, have fun, register, enjoy, experience the Giostra Fortuna, because performing there is also, it's a vibe. It's really a vibe. Any other question? Hi. Oh, thank you so much for the collaboration. Hello.
Hi. So since the cosplay community has gotten way too much competitive in the few years, I would like to ask you for an advice so people can continue cosplay. What would you give?
To continue? Yeah, because there's so much competition. Oh, geht gut.
A competition between the cosplayers or competition between the events? It's gone too business-like, right? And less fun-like, right? I do agree with you.
First of all, the most important part is that you do cosplay because you like it. If you do it to get popular or to make it your full-time job, then you will end up hating it in like a week. You really need to love it, and find the people that you enjoy doing it with, who are not like super competitive, I want to be popular people. Just stay away from those who are toxic and only or mostly do cosplay to get Insta famous or whatever.
And there are some around.
Yeah, there are some. Yeah, just stay away from toxic people and try not to compare yourself to others. I have a bad habit of comparing myself to people all the time, but every time I step away and I just do my own thing and I just enjoy that, I don't really care so much about the competition anymore. And if you just stay focused on yourself and if you improve your own craft, then you will get better, and then people will start, recognizing you, and then you don't really care about the competition. Because you're just doing you and you're getting better because you want to. I'd say that's the best way.
Yeah, I also want to add, since the cosplay and costume making, if it's not professional, it's always your choice. So you have to think always like, what is good for you? What is comfortable for you? So if you're not feeling comfortable to join the competition and you're not feeling comfortable like being with a toxic community, just take a break, find someone with you, with what and with who you're comfortable with. Always think about your mentality and your feeling. If you're feeling that way, it's good. If you're not, never push yourself.
For me, I'm coming from, the Hobbit village in Lord of the Ring. That's Switzerland community. So, to be honest, I'm very lucky to have such lovely people. But what I can say, it's the magic of cosplay coming from your passion in your heart. And if you find the right person on your side to bring the magic on the top, you will spread that with people. So don't go into negative thinking about around people. Just focus on what making you happy, because life is short. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Those are words of wisdom. I do agree. Do we have other questions maybe? Hi. Let me step in here so I don't cover you, because you look really pretty.
Hi. What do you base your judging on? Also a question for you, because I know you've judged.
Should I answer first? What I base my judging on? So let's say, I don't know all the characters, of course, when I'm going to judge a cosplay competition. Even in European cosplay competitions, so big ones, you don't know all the characters. So I really based my judgment on the picture that are provided by the person, the contestant that is going to perform. So let's say that, you know, the costume always changes. You are playing a game, then the cape is green, then it looks, maybe it's blue, maybe it's another shade of green. And sometimes contestants provide all of those. And you're like, but which one is the correct one? So I will say, stick with one reference picture so I can physically compare it to your costume and say, oh, you got this right, you know? So make it cohesive between reference pictures and your actual costume, but I will also say, take care of the performance. Think about, what would I like to see if I was in the audience? So maybe something magical at a certain point. Let's talk about Elfia. Or maybe a reveal, or maybe something with the music, where the music changes. So, you know, like, give the show. And when you have a costume and a show planned, I think the judges are going to be like, it's a good meal, you know? It's like, oh, I really like that. So personally, I do that when I'm in the jury. And also the techniques, like if you nail even one technique very, very well, I don't need a lot of techniques involved in your costume. If you nail even one, I'll be like, oh, that's amazing.